Hey, what is up, guys? It is Sunday, and it is time for the return of Star Wars Rebels Recap, as Star Wars Rebels Season 3 kicked back off yesterday, January 7th. So we're looking at the episodes today, which was Season 3, Episode 11, the 1-hour premiere of The Ghost of Geonosis. Now, in this episode, we saw Saw Gerrera return because it was reported that a rebel cell went to Geonosis to investigate an Imperial power source. Upon arriving there, they lost all contact. Bail Organa would reach out to the Ghost crew in order to find this contact, which turned out to be Saw Gerrera. Now, Gerrera was there because he was investigating what would be soon become the Death Star. He doesn't know exactly what it is as of yet, but it was still kind of surreal to see these rebels this close to uncovering the most dangerous thing the Empire has within their ranks as of this current moment. And it's almost crazy to see Saw Gerrera, really, because I know he was in the Clone Wars beforehand, but this version of Saw Gerrera, how he looks particularly, is very close to how he looked in Rogue One. Actually, with the flashbacks, it's almost exactly how he looked in Rogue One, minus the robotic legs. So I'm kind of interested to see if we're going to see how he lost his legs from this point to Rogue One, but that's the story for another time. We're going to be looking first at how this episode played out and how could it affect the series moving forward. Not just the series, but really the entire universe of Star Wars altogether. So as I said earlier, this episode started out with the Rebel crew receiving a transmission from Bail Organa and Commander Sato that a Rebel cell was investigating a power source on the planet of Geonosis, and they had lost all contact with them. And they required the Ghost crew to investigate this, see if they can find the missing Rebel crew, and get with information they had gathered about what the Empire was doing on Geonosis. Now, if you remember back in Season 1, when the Ghost crew first went to Geonosis, that was around the time that they found out that they were building something there, and that they had wiped out all the Geonosians that lived below. So they knew something was up with Geonosis, but now they really are trying to investigate it and see what was going on that planet. Now, of course, we already know what was going on. The Empire was constructing the Death Star, and they wiped out all the Geonosians prior to moving it to Scarif, which you saw in Rogue One. So the question really is, what was leading up to that? What happened on Geonosis? That's the question. And the Rebels, that's what they're trying to find out. They're trying to see what happened down there. So Saw Gerrera was actually the first one to go to Geonosis because he seems to really be on this aspect of the Empire is building something that we won't be able to stop. And we need to find out what it is so we have hope of stopping it. And he's kind of on a plane of, I don't care if I'm the only one who cares about it, because if I am, I'm going to do what I have to do, because he's kind of like on his own level, kind of on his own boat of terms of what he needs to do in order to get the job done. And some of the other rebels, even though they say, okay, he's kind of an extremist, but he is a rebel, and he does have great tactics, and he's able to assist us in many ways, they still look towards him kind of differently. You did see that in Rogue One when you find out that he's not part of the full-on rebellion. They actually separate themselves and they consider him as an extremist, and this really does come out in this episode, but I'll talk about that as I move forward. So the Ghost crew do go to Geonosis, and they decide to split up because they pick up a power source in one area, and Ezra and Kanan, Chop, and Captain Rex decide to go into the catacombs of Geonosis and locate the Rebel crew. Upon the split, they go in and they find Rebel helmets scattered all over the place, and they share the marking of Saw Gerrera's forces. Upon doing so, there's something that's spying on them. They don't quite know what it is yet, and Kanan is very hesitant to go further down. He feels as though something will go wrong, but Ezra knew that there was somebody here, and he had to investigate and had to find out what it was, because it could have answers for what happened to this missing Rebel crew. So they go further in, and upon doing so, they encounter Saw Gerrera, thanks to some battle droids that have been left over by the Empire. Now, I want to talk about this as well. This is kind of interesting to see. If you saw the old episode, which was The Last Battle, which you saw essentially the last battle of the Clone Wars, you find out that the Empire is supposed to destroy any battle droids they come across. But on Geonosis, I don't know if the Geonosian that was still alive there repurposed the battle droids or the Empire did. Now, I don't really know if you can connect and say, oh yeah, this Geonosian did it, or say the Empire did it, because the battle droids were rebuilt. They were better than they were before. So I can't really see one Geonosian that was alive rebuilding those battle droids. I think the Empire may have repurposed those battle droids and used them to defend whatever they were constructing on Geonosis, which of course we know was the Death Star, but I'm just talking in terms of what the rebels don't know. As we progress further, Saw Gerrera basically says, yeah, we're here investigating something, and they are introduced to this Geonosian who they named Click Clack because of the noise that he makes. He was basically like the last Geonosian alive, and he's holding the key to saving his race, which is the egg of a Geonosian queen. And Saw Gerrera really used his extremist side to get information out of Click Clack. He almost threatened to destroy the egg itself if Click Clack didn't reveal what the Empire was building. And what made me feel so bad was that Click Clack was constantly telling them what they were building. Now, of course, he can't speak English. He only speaks Geonosian. So he's drawing on the ground in order to relay the message. He draws a circle and then draws a smaller circle about the top left-hand corner of it, which we all know is the Death Star. That would be the Death Star and its firing laser. But they don't know this, and it makes you feel so bad on the inside because they're literally looking at the Empire's key to destroying planets such as Scarif, Jeddah, and Alderaan, but they don't know. They don't know that he's drawing the Empire's super weapon. They don't. It really just eats away at me to see that scene. And Kanan was sitting there, and he was like a spirit in the spirit. What does he mean? And when Click Clack pulls out the egg, he sees that the egg is a sphere within a sphere, and thinks that's what he's talking about. But he wasn't. He was talking about the Death Star, and it really eats away at me. But that's something we'll just save for later. As the episode progresses, the Empire finds out that the Ghost Crew were on Geonosis, and this new character, Captain Bronson, who is a female captain for the Empire, comes in and is basically tasked with eliminating the Ghost Crew. They find out the Ghost ship is down there. So like, yeah, if we destroy the Ghost, we'll sure to get a promotion. So they go down there and start bombing the area. Click Clack tries to help everybody, gets them lowering the planet. Upon doing so, you find out how the Empire exterminated the entire Geonosian race. A lot of people thought it was an over-bombardment. A lot of people thought they went down and it was like a mass genocide. It was poison. They gassed the entire Geonosian species until they all died out, except, of course, for this one last Geonosian named Click Clack. But it was almost painstaking to hear that, to know that all those Geonosians died from poison gas. It wasn't a quick and painful death for them. It wasn't a quick and painless death for them. They died rather slowly thanks to poison gas, and that's just almost heartbreaking in a way, because I know the Geonosians were the bane of a lot of people during the Clone Wars, but I don't think anybody deserves to go in terms of poison gas, especially an entire race. So the Empire definitely had no regards for the Geonosians after they left and moved the Death Star elsewhere. So the episode progresses. Saw Gerrera is placed in a position because the rebel crew are like, come on, man, stop being so extremist, stop being so crazy towards Click Clack. Because Click Clack was just there because he wanted to save his species. He was the key to saving the Geonosian race. Him and this queen egg, he had to be able to want to take care of it. It was dropped at one point, but it was still okay. And Saw Gerrera had a moment of clarity and realized that, you know, he lost his family. Of course, remember, he lost his sister Stella during the Clone Wars because they were rebels at the time against the Trade Federation. So he understands that people lose family, and he doesn't want to be the reason that more people lose family. So he's able to let Click Clack go and let him go on his own way. Eventually, they're able to escape the Empire there, and the rebellion, of course, continues, and we're heading further and further into the season. But what does this episode do for the future? It does a lot, if you ask me. First off, it officially connects better the movies and the shows. Now, at first, we just had Saw Gerrera in the movie, and we had him in Clone Wars, and that kind of was the bridge between the old stuff and the new stuff. But now that he's in Rebels, and this is the closest connection for it, it really expands on this whole Rise of the Empire, post-Episode 3, pre-Episode 4 time period, because I love the fact that we're getting a lot more expanded on this time period, because I love seeing how the Republic was reconstructed into this huge galactic empire, and seeing how the Rebel Alliance began to shape and form, and we got into the Galactic Civil War time period that we all know and love from Episode 4 through 6. So this really does a lot for that, and I really cannot wait to see what the rest of Season 3 has in store. Of course, we all saw this Season 3 trailer that featured Obi-Wan and Darth Maul getting ready to get in a fight. We saw Grand Admiral Thrawn strapping up, training against Sentry Droids, getting ready to get in the fight himself. We saw Death Troopers. We saw Bail Organa. We saw maybe even Admiral Akbar making an appearance. We saw Mon Mothma. It's all shaping up to be a great season. Star Wars Rebels Season 3, and we'll be right here along the entire way to give you guys breakdown after breakdown of every episode, every trailer, every moment to keep you guys in the toe of Star Wars Rebels Season 3. So until next Sunday, keep it locked for the Marauders Guild for more Star Wars Rebels content in the future. Until next time, may the Force be with you all. I'll definitely see you guys in a later video.